separate in there?
Yeah, we are.
Alright.
You too.
Okay.
You too. That's weird. I got more. I turned it back on and it's filming again. I don't know. Yeah. It's filming again. Huh. So it's not. I'm not out of battery and I'm not out of juice, but I think every now and then it just says, "Hey, screw this. I'm going to turn off." I'm going to just continue filming them until they drive off because I don't, frankly, trust them.
I got a question for you.
Yeah. Can I approach you safely?
Yes, you can, sir.
All right. Are you the sergeant or?
No. I'm just an officer.
All right. And I'm just an American. I'm a law-abiding citizen. My name's
So am I. How you
My name's
doing?
Sean.
Kevin.
Kevin, good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you too. What kind of reactions did you get going?
You know, generally, everybody, I mean, obviously you guys got called by somebody, but we had so many people. I really hope you watch the videos. We're going to put them on YouTube, all right?
Okay.
Please do. Hell Saint is gonna put it on his channel. We got a lot of footage, but I would dare to say everybody we interacted with was 97 to 100% like happy to talk to us. We had great, like the last lady I talked to there, her name was Azinga.
Yes.
Beautiful lady, had some great conversation. You know, I've done open carry walks by myself, and I think it's a little harder for people to wrap their minds around a lone person versus a group of people. You know, it's like as people we're almost like herd animals.
Yes.
It's like, well, I'm going to follow the leader. So they see a group of people doing it, and the light bulb might go off a little bit more to where, okay, this actually is allowed and it is legal, and these are my rights. You know what I mean? I got heated earlier. I don't know if that was your partner.
And maybe it's just
when he called me ignorant. He called me like numerous times. You know.
I'm going to apologize for him on his behalf. We are short out here. We are running thin.
Yeah.
We do work a lot of hours, and they put a lot of stress on us.
I understand that. You know.
I try to keep calm myself, and there's some days that you know.
Yeah, well, I know that you guys are just humans, but I don't want just the people to start thinking about this dialogue we're having, but you guys too, because so many people are, you know, and I'm gonna be honest with you, are terrified of y'all. Absolutely terrified, including myself. When I see a cop, I don't get that feeling of safety. I get the feeling of impending doom.
How?
And
I'm trying to see where you're coming from on that. Usually when people around here see us, they do get that reaction.
Yeah.
But they also get the idea that something's going on.
Right.
Something's going on or something's about to happen, and that's why they see us.
Yeah.
We're out here, we try to say that we're out here, if we had more patrol time and talk to people, we could get that message out just a little bit better.
Right.
But right now, when they see us, it's usually something that bad happens.
Well, my personal beliefs, and I have a real strong belief that, you know, law enforcement, the resources that we're allocating towards the war on drugs and all these things, like all this time and energy spent on these victimless offenses, when, you know, the real, if a fraction of the money put into the war on drugs was put in on apprehending violent offenders, rapists, and murderers, if that's where we allocated our resources, I think that we would live in a much safer place. But it's kind of become this thing where, you know, people are afraid of the cops because almost everyone you know has been locked up for some, you know, some crime that really hasn't hurt anybody.
Okay.
You know?
All right. Before I came the patrol, I was doing special operations with the department, and
like no-knock warrants type
deal. What it
deal?
is that what you're talking about, the crimes against persons, rape, robbery, murder, and people with outstanding warrants. Okay. And for the past 6 months, that's what I've been doing. Yeah. Is going out there, trying to search for these people. Right. And with the new chief that we got in, Chief James Craig, we've been doing that. Yeah. And that's what he was doing, is that people that have this history of doing these violent crimes, they want off the street. Because they're more likely.
I've heard about that, and that's awesome. Yes. When I heard that he came out and also supported citizens, standing up in a sense and arming themselves, like that's essentially what we're advocating. And so it was a little disheartening for me to see, the police standing behind their cars with their shotguns at the ready. When all we're doing is we're out there advocating and starting a dialogue with people, because a lot of the people that we talk to, I would say, a majority of them don't know that they have the right to do what we're doing right now.
The most perception is kind of like the first impression. With a few people that I talk to, because I try to get their responses too.
Right.
And what they first think, and when you see you guys, it's either I got a couple of them that say that something's about to go down.
Yeah. Sure. Not gonna argue with that.
Something's about to go down because that's their first impression.
Right.
Or you are the police.
Right.
Because what they associate police with police for is open carry.
Yeah.
They see guns, and then you just
and that kind of ties right into like the mentality of like
they're about to
only people that they don't know they have the right to do that, so naturally you must be a police officer. I'm not going to say that a lot of our conversations that end positively, they do start off with some apprehension. They do start off with like, hey, what are y'all doing? And then once you talk to them and treat them like a human being and just engage in an honest dialogue, they're blown away, and I'm blown away. You know what I mean? But if you walk around like, not talking to people and looking like you're some tough badass, it's going to turn people off. I try to be as friendly and as open with people, and before I always try to initiate it. Hi, how's it going? Hello, and just to try and disarm someone that may see, when you see that apprehension in their face, like, oh, what's about to go down? So, that's I'm not going to deny that, and that's, we're living in a world where people are afraid of their own shadows. You know what I mean? So if I can talk with people and just, not that it's my job to educate the masses, but I think that if you can empower one person to take their family security and safety into their own hands, that's such a wonderful thing. Because you just said it, you're spread thin. When's the last time you showed up and saved the day versus the last time you showed up and had to draw a chalk line around some poor victim? You know what I mean? That's the reality.
There's more of the cleanup than there is of saving, but there is times. And those times are good.
Yeah. I imagine it feels great.
I feel good.
Right.
About what I do. I like what I do. I actually love it.
Right.
And that's why and I like the city. I could go elsewhere and I go down here, but it's me against well, not even say me, but I would just say for I try to do the best I can.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's something that motivates you versus like writing someone a $150 ticket for, a bulb out on their license plate or something like that. I mean,
there's a lot of breaks that I do give out.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
And there's some people that just don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Times are tough out there. I understand that. And I do give a lot of breaks out.
Right.
And we have separate police for that.
Yeah.
They go out there and they do their ticket stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm assigned for downtown, so I handle the events and concerts and stuff like that. I just got assigned out to this over here.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, like, you've been a very positive and reassuring advocate for a profession that I've really kind of grown to not trust and even despise, and
yeah, that's what I don't like, I hate to see people that they get discouraged by the police.
Right.
It's not what I'm out here to do. I'm not here to scare people. I'm not here to make them fear, fear the police.
Yeah.
It's, I think we're just too spread thin, and some people it's just it's just overwhelming for some.
Well,
I have those days. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
It's like today when I was talking to you guys and stuff, and I was like, I already knew what you were promoting. I've seen it before.
Yeah. So you knew we weren't a threat.
No. No.
You didn't know that, or?
I did not know. I mean, I didn't know. Let me say that again. I said I didn't know that. Or no. You were not a threat.
So you knew what we were doing. You knew we weren't just going to draw down on you and have a gunfight. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. But did you see like what happened when I looked over. It was like, hey guys, we're having a conversation. And then I looked over and saw an armed man with a shotgun at the ready. That was really alarming for me.
It was different people's perceptions.
Yeah.
I can't control what everybody else thinks and how they react. Maybe they've been into maybe a critical situation where something did happen to them in their previous, tour.
Yeah. Well, my perception is that, we grow up believing that the police are these heroes, and the older I got, I even looked into law enforcement until I started kind of just, my thinking started changing, and I got to the point where I was like, do I want to support something that I'm morally opposed to? And I'm morally opposed to the revenue generation aspect of what law enforcement does. You know what I mean? And I know that good guys, do the job, and I know we're all human. But I just want to really encourage you to be an advocate for the people. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
It's very important, because the minute you can, talk to someone like, you're not above them. You know what I mean? It's a huge. We're all just human beings,
I'm the same as everybody else. The badge and the gun just, it's you go out here and you're supposed to serve and protect, and that's what I try to do.
Yeah.
I don't want people thinking that we're bullies.
Yeah. Well, you look at what some of the stuff that happens in the media.
I could go around, with my arms crossed. It's just all, and the demeanor and how you stance and.
Yeah. One of the things that a lot of people don't realize. Let me get your opinion on this. Is the Supreme Court's already ruled that the police have no duty to protect you. And I didn't realize this until that case in New York where the man on the subway was stabbing people, and the armed or the Good Samaritan stepped in and basically disarmed this knife-wielding maniac on the subway. And as he's getting stabbed in the arms and head, trying to get this guy on the ground, he looks over and sees two uniformed NYPD officers just standing there watching. And they didn't lift a finger to help him until it was safe to do so, after the guy was already subdued. The man goes and he tries to sue the city, and the lawsuit gets thrown out because the Supreme Court's already ruled. I don't remember the exact case, but they've already ruled that the police have no duty to protect you. I mean, that's an eye-opener for me, because if they're not there to protect you, what are they there to do? Is it generate revenue? You know what I mean? It kind of makes you wonder.
That's what I'd be thinking.
It makes me wonder, So,
I don't think if I see somebody that's violently injured,
you'd like to think you'd step in. Even if you weren't a cop, you'd step in. But so many people are more likely to just pull a camera out and start filming it these days.
There is a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that just kind of provoke something, and video camera just to put it on, you would say YouTube.
And I'm videotaping one for my own safety, especially when stuff happened earlier happens, is because frankly I don't want my word against the police, because I don't think I'd come out on top on that one. But right now I'm filming you because I really appreciate the time you took to get out and talk with me like a human being. You know what I mean?
It really bothered me, because that's what I thought, that and usually the first encounter is not a really good one.
Yeah.
In my view, that's why I was following. Just go around and then at the end, come over here and talk to you guys.
It's also nice to know that you weren't.
And see how you guys, how your opinion.
Well, I'll be honest, when I didn't realize it was you following. I just saw that a couple of squad cars were following, and it kind of gave me the feeling that I was being stalked, just, waiting for me to jaywalk or something. Then you could, so, obviously I'm
there's always a percent,
so that's kind of my mindset. But then to actually talk with you and find out that you're actually genuinely curious about people's reactions to what we're doing is very, that's good. That's an awesome thing. You know what I mean? But I know a lot of it'll probably get edited, because I've shot over 2 hours of video now.
Correct.
But we do put these videos up, and we don't, we just show it how it is. You know what I mean? And it's awesome to see that. I'm not trying to kiss your butt here or anything, but I genuinely get the feeling that you're a good guy, and I appreciate that. Because I've had guns pointed at me by the police for doing nothing more than I'm doing now. Actually, even less threatening. I had my Mosin strapped over my back, and I was cuffed and stuffed and had my serial number run. And I normally don't give my ID. my view is if I'm going to exercise one of my rights, I'm going to exercise them all. But since today I am concealing appendix right here,
yes.
I knew the law and I have to ID at that point. With my CPL and all that. So, and that's kind of where me and your partner got into a battle of wills there.
IDing yourself, correct.
Right. And the general conception is that you have to ID.
If you're not doing anything wrong, walking down the street.
Yeah.
And if we ask you for your ID,
you don't have to give it. It's a choice.
But there's also another incident where if the police is called to a situation, well, it's not really a situation.
Right.
But if the police are on here, we come out here and talk. This first thing we do is we ask, do you guys carry any ID?
And we both know that the reason for that is to check if there's any wants and warrants type of a deal,
Correct.
And I generally don't like being run through the system because, every transaction with the police, even, every time your name's put in that computer, there's a permanent record of it. And I kind of that doesn't make me feel very comfortable. You know what I mean? As much as I can minimize that, I will, but I'm not going to I'm going to exercise my rights. But when I have to, obviously you don't do something like this if you don't know the law. And that's what I tell people too, is like, hey, you have the right to do this, but don't go out and do it until you learn the laws. For instance, if you don't have a CPL and you were to get into that car with this on your hip, that's a felony right there. It's a violation of, that's concealed carry at that point. So arm yourself with knowledge, you know what I mean? And that's kind of what we're out here doing. And I'm real passionate about, not only our rights, but just the direction of this country. And so that comes out in my dialogue, and I tend to talk a lot, and I tend to get loud, and that's just, not trying to be disrespectful, but I did get a little upset with your partner, and I know he's human too.
Better footage when the police get all riled up, doesn't it?
Well, I've said this before, I would prefer to just go out, have a cop car drive by you, which has happened plenty of times, and then just have good dialogue. My goal is to not have guns pointed at me. I have a boy who's turning 5 at the end of the month, and I want to be there for him. I don't want to die because somebody didn't know the law.
Correct.
Or a law enforcement officer didn't know the law, and that I wasn't, a bad guy, and it's not guilty until proven innocent type of a deal, You
kept calling me if I was a supervisor or not. I talk like one?
Well, you have a level head. You weren't calling me names. You were very level-headed. You weren't standing behind a squad car with kind of the same thing as happening now. You're talking to me like I'm a person.
Yes.
And you knew I'm not a threat to you, and none of us were, That's why I thought you were a supervisor. And I looked, no stripes on his.
No stripes. No,
well, hopefully someday you will be. I wasn't too impressed with the supervisor or the sergeant that I did talk with. And I was still a little bit heated when I did talk to him, but I gave him my unfiltered point of view, and he at that point shut down on me and told me you can get out of here. But hopefully all the cops know what the laws are and what their limitations are, where they're bound by certain, by constitutional restraints, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but not all of them do, and some do, and they just ignore it, which is even more alarming. But I sure do appreciate your time, K. Simpson. Kevin?
Yes.
Like I said, I go by Sean. Y'all got my legal name earlier, but my friends call me Sean.
That was just for our activity log sheet. We didn't run your name or anything like that. Just came out here to talk to you.
Yeah.
And find out what's going on. We told us you were doing open carry.
Well, like I said, we're just trying to back up what your own chief said. We're trying to empower the people. Because
it's starting to work. Some people are taking back. They're not really going out in the streets walking around, but as far as property-wise, people entering their houses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's got to stop.
You'd have to be. I can't even imagine the mindset of someone in this day and age that would break into another person's home. It's like you need to know that you're gonna get shot at. You know what I mean? And you're taking your life into your own hands.
And they're starting to realize that slowly. Yes.
So.
Okay.
Well, hey.
All right. Well,
thank you so much for your time, officer. I appreciate you.
All right, no
and
problem.
Yeah, man, keep doing what you're doing. I think that the more guys out there that are with that mindset, I think the better off the profession would be, and that's my opinion.
That's what I would like to. I would like to say that everybody's like this.
Yeah.
And hopefully they are. And it's
not everyone has, the problem is that we're all human beings and we're flawed.
Yes.
And when you give a human being a certain amount of power, sometimes they don't know how to handle it. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone, I feel like not everybody should be a law enforcement officer. I think it takes a very special person to not let that power just completely go to their heads,
Correct.
I knew a guy went through the police academy, a dear friend of mine. We don't talk anymore, but one of the conversations we had, he told me that, I was trying to talk to him like we're talking. Well, you can't just demand someone's ID. And he basically said, Sean, we're the police. We do what the fuck we want. Now, him and I were very like-minded before he went into the police academy.
Okay.
So he didn't just come up with that. He was taught. You do what you're going to do, and we got your back. The thin blue line kind of a deal, I think that,
It's like it's a real close family, but at the same time, you still got a job to do. It's a differentiation. It's separation from work and personal life. When you go home, it's...
Yeah, you have a bad day, you're going to take it out on your, snap at your wife or something, and unfortunately when you snap on someone in public, you might end up shooting their pit bull, or, you know what I mean, like, there's just too much of that happening these days, so be a public servant, and it seems like you got a good head for that, you know what I mean? A lot of times people forget, like, y'all are public servants, like, it's almost like, it feels sometimes like we're paying for the news.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
We're supposed to go out here and serve the public, but we get these calls constantly.
Yeah.
The violence. We don't get to talk to anybody just to say hi.
Well, sometimes it feels like I'm paying for the rope that's used to hang me. You know what I mean? Like, my tax dollars are going into...
Well, I hope you have a little bit different view that there is. I hope you have a better.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm still pretty biased. Especially like I
think we're working. There's generation. There's not a lot of it goes on in the media of what we do. When I said when I was a patrol officer, I was doing special deployment. Yeah. That's what we do. Bad hits. Find these people, and sometimes they're out of the city. Travel and knock on doors, constantly. Their family will just give them up after so long. Like, oh, he's over here. And it let them down.
And if someone's not safe enough to be released to the public, why are we doing it?
The problem is that, as far as suffering, it's got control on down here, it's like that slap on the wrist. And it makes it hard for us because why is this law different in the city than it is on the suburbs? Why is there different fines? Well, not fines, but different years. That's what's happening. It's been there since I came out. I have 11 years now. So it's been like that. You get plenty of awards, You're like, oh, you saved this guy's life, or you stopped this beauty supply from getting robbed 15 million times, and over $100,000 stolen, family dollars is robbed. It's, keep going, and we get the guy, and they're like, okay.
So it's not just the law,
All right, see you guys.